Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Believers Club. Today, we are coming at you with a topic that I think is super juicy and something that we can all take something from. So, today, we want to talk about how to know your worth, your value.
Mm-hmm.
Self-love, all those things come into play, and how to know your worth when it comes to business and relationships. This is one of those things I think is a practice. It's something that is a journey to really get to this place, and then even when you get there, I think you keep moving into a new spot. If you guys
Yeah.
haven't had a chance to check out our last episode, it is up on YouTube. Please check it out. We are here every Wednesday. We've got a new episode dropping for you guys. We'd love your feedback, so make sure to get in touch with us.
Yes. Yeah, we're talking about worthiness. And I can say that it's definitely a lifelong process because worthiness is just something, it's like an ever evolving thing. I think as you get to know yourself, you get to know different levels of your worth. I personally think. Um, yeah, it's a topic that's I feel like a very emotional topic because a lot of people in this world, including myself, and I'm sure Harj can relate, it took a long time to even get to a point of thinking that you are worthy to feel like you need some worth given to you. So it's a topic that's a very touchy subject for sure. But I think it's a much needed thing that all of us need to know that we are worthy of whatever we're trying to do in life or even say in life.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like when you want to worthiness is one of those things that I think especially growing up as women and especially growing up as women in ethnic cultures, I think there's this understanding of men are more worthy
Yeah.
than women.
Yeah.
I don't think we can have this conversation without mentioning that because it's so deep rooted. Even if we don't experience it in our own households, you know, you've experienced it with relatives somewhere,
Yeah. Or
right?
heard somebody in your friends group or someone that's gone through some type of toxicity in their life at their home that they were made to feel like they're not worthy.
Yeah, like even in a siblings relationship, like maybe the brother is given more or has more respect or whatever it is, and the daughter's
Yeah.
has a different level of expectations on her. And I know that. So I'm on TikTok and I watch TikTok videos a lot. And sometimes, like, you know, if you're South Asian, if you're Punjabi, you might end up on Punjabi TikTok, right? On that side of things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see a
Yeah.
lot of videos where, you know, the parents will be like, you know, which one is more likely like this, which one is like that. When it comes to the favorite child, it's always the brother, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, I just kind of like, I know it's meant to be funny, but I don't really find it funny because I think that is one of those things that holds us back a lot too. And we have to go sometimes to the outside world to find our value and then bring it back home. And
Yeah.
in Western society, sometimes it's different. Like your families teach you your value and you go prove it to society. In the cases of, like, you know, ethnic households or South Asian traditional households, you got to go find your worth out there and then prove it at home. It's so
And
messy.
yeah, come home and teach them what it is that they should be providing you instead of getting it from the world.
Totally.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, I'm blessed that I didn't really have much of that issue growing up, where
Mhm.
I wasn't taught that I was invaluable. I was taught that I was equal, always was, right? And so
That's
it
wicked.
breaks my
Yeah.
heart when I kind of hear relatives or people go through that, where they're like, because they're a boy, they can do that. My mom has been very, like, vocal about that growing up. That, like, if my son does it, my daughter does it, right? Even when it came to dating relationships, they were like, if your brothers are going to start dating at this age, then this is the age that you can start dating, but just be smart about your dating, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
My
yeah.
experience is completely opposite. Yeah. I was always told that, yeah, my brother can do whatever. And I always rebelled against it. I always fought against that. Why is he able to do something, whatever it was, literally going out, taking a car, not coming home too late, leaving early, everything, every time I questioned it or I tried to do something similar, because I feel like we are South Asian, but because we're born here and brought up in the Western society, you end up rebelling against a little bit of the traditional thinking, which is you're a girl, you're not going to do the same things a man would, or your brother, whoever it is that they're comparing you to. So I was always rebelling against that, which I feel like turns into anger, and then you start questioning your own worthiness, and it spirals down instead of you realizing this is way beyond you. This is like a cultural thing that is engraved in most homes, and it takes like a home like Harj's home to shift and start that process of unraveling all the bullshit that we, I think we like, people literally consider culture almost like religion. They end up treating like, they're like, oh, it's so sacred. It's like, no, this is just the things you guys have created over the years. But yeah, my experience is completely different, but there's homes just like Harj's that are actually making the changes. And I can say now, obviously I'm older, so the parents can't really like do much because I'm too old for them to be like, you're sitting in your room or whatever it is they're trying to tell me. But they're definitely starting to have an open mind on equality.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And it's crazy
taking a long time.
because like it gets even deeper, because even in Western society it does exist as well on a different
Yes.
level, like business,
Yes.
professional, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
salaries are still not equal for men and women because
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
worthy thing there, right? And so when it comes to, that's why we're here to talk to you about how to establish your value and get to know your value. And like a couple things that I have some notes here. When it comes to getting to know your value, you have to decide, you have to get to know who you are, like get really honest with yourself and sit with yourself and say, okay, like, who am I? Because if you don't know who you are, how the hell are you going to establish your value? It's like when you go to
Yeah.
the store and there's a product on the shelf, they know how to price the product because they know what the product is. So if you don't know who you are, how do you know what your worth is? And I'm not talking
Yeah.
about putting your worth as like a dollar amount. I'm just saying for your own personal self-love. So
Yeah.
ask yourself, like, what do you stand for? What drives you
Yeah.
in life? Like, what is your personality? Like, what are your values and your ethics? Like, what is something that you can get behind, right? Who do you
And
want to be?
And do you know that you are actually worth it? You just got to go through all those questions
Yeah.
that you got to ask for yourself and
Just
get
keep
to that point.
real. Yeah. Like figure that part out. And then
Yeah.
when you know this, it gives you like the foundation, right? It gives you the foundation for like what inspires you in life. And
Yeah.
one thing that a coach had told me to do was to write down all of my characteristics. Write down
Yeah.
all, when I think about me in like my highest form, what are all the wonderful things about me? Write down your characteristics that you have and that you love. And
Yeah.
you guys can't see this, but I have it on my wall. I have a web. I have my name.
Yeah.
I have all my characteristics drawn out, because then you look at that and you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm good shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a reminder,
Yeah. And keep
because
that
you
in
can
mind,
forget.
keep those characteristics in mind all the time. And if you're in business, right, then you know who your audience is. You know, if you're going to work and you're looking for a salary raise, you know what you bring to the table, right? Set some affirmations, tell them to yourself every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is something I need to get better at because I don't do this every day. But I think like when you say things out loud about yourself, your language is really important. When you say things out loud and you hear it, then it starts to sink in. Because saying it to yourself inside is like wonderful, but it has to be real. You have to listen to your voice telling yourself that you are these
Yeah.
wonderful things, right? And
Yeah. I
it
totally agree. Yeah.
repeating it every day like lifts your spirits, but it also changes the patterns in your brain. So your brain starts to believe like, yeah, these are the things that I am.
Yeah.
And receive. Another thing that like I think was really, really important that I started to do better at, and it helped confirm my self-love and my worth, was when somebody was giving me something, when somebody was offering me love, affection, compliments, my first reaction was always like, no, 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 no. And I'd turn it away like, oh, you're so pretty. No, you're so pretty. Or, you know what, you're such an awesome person. Thanks, you're an awesome person. Or here, I was thinking about you and I got this for you. No, it's okay. I'm good. I don't need it. I don't want it. When in reality, it's just a knee-jerk reaction to you thinking that you're not worthy of just accepting that without giving something back. So,
Right here, what she said, exactly. Same page. Could not have said it any different. I literally go through the same thing.
yeah, we all do it. And because I think as kids we're also trained, I don't know if Serena you had this experience, but when you go somewhere, someone, it's like when we go to relatives' houses when we're kids and they give us money and our parents have this big fight of like, don't get, no, don't, we don't, it's fine.
Don't take it. Don't take it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you kind of start to think that like we don't take it because there's this ego of like we don't want people to think we need it, right? If
Yeah.
we take
Yeah.
it, they're gonna look at us like, and it's funny because you try this. If you're brown and you've ever like gone through this, next time you go to a relative's house and they give you money and you take it on the first go, look at the reaction. Like, you know, you just took that fucking $50 bill
I,
anyway.
I
Well, you
started doing. I started doing that, and I swear I used to get looks like, "Did she just take it on the first time?" Because I got to a point, I'm like, "Why are you turning away my money?"
yeah,
Nothing.
yeah, and it's like it's crazy because yeah, you're turning away someone else's money. If the person is giving it to you, why do we first just go no, 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 no? Because it's not a matter of needing it or wanting it. It's a matter of someone is
Yeah.
giving and you have a problem receiving. And the reason
Yeah.
we have a
Yeah.
problem receiving is because we don't think that we're actually worth it.
Yeah. 100%. I
When
agree
you're in
with that.
a relationship with a guy or something and they give you like the moon and back, those are often the ones we run away from. I'll share something very brief with you guys that I'm never planned to share this on this podcast, but I'm going to share it. When I was in my 20s and I was 20 years old, there was a guy that came into my life. Okay, I'm not going to say his name, but there's a guy that came into my life and he showered me with love, attention, affection, was just googly eyes for me and loved me. Okay, I've never in my life experienced that. And I remember turning him down because I had an asshole boyfriend that I preferred to be with who was like a drug dealer and was cheating on me left, right, and center. And I was like, I want that guy. And
Mhm.
um, I remember the guy that I turned down continued to fight for me for years and years. And I kept breaking up with douchebags and getting into new relationships with new douchebags. And this guy on the side just kept waiting for me. And I remember meeting up with him a couple of times here and there throughout those years, and he was the same. He never changed his feelings for me. And he literally was like, every time I was around him, he made me feel like I was like a goddess queen. But
Yeah.
I didn't feel right being with him because I felt like you're a simp. You're like this guy that's just like a nice guy. And we all do this. Like we turn down the nice guy who actually sees something wonderful in us for the guy that treats us like shit. And I remember this guy called me and he was seeing someone. He goes, I'm going to marry this girl, but I want to know, is there any chance for us to ever be together? I need to know this before I go ahead and make this life decision. And I said, hell no. And I went back to my boyfriend who was cheating on me. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because now that individual is married, is got children, has moved on with their life, and I look back at that and I think if he was to come into my life now, I would have totally and completely accepted him, because at that age I did not know my value. And so when somebody else knew my value and saw it for me and was reflecting it to me, I freaked the fuck out. And I was like, I'm not going to date you because you're giving me something that is so strange to me. I can't take it. And I labeled him and I judged him for seeing value
Yeah.
in me. So
Yeah.
we have to see that we're worth it. And that's a process.
Yeah, yeah, that hit home. That hit home. So she shared something deep, and it just brought me to think about my life and how my worth has been questioned by me. I always get emotional talking about this, but I'm not gonna. So, as a kid, I was sexually abused by my uncle and my cousin, and that really fucked me up in the way when I got into my teens. I didn't have any worth. Like, I was not worthy. There was no value to me in my own eyes. And I definitely felt they by other people as well, because I didn't have any value. So nobody else was picking up on those gems. And now I'm in a relationship where what you described as a man that you let go,
Yeah.
I'm with somebody like that showers me, gives me so much love. But because I'm still working, as we said, it's a process to get to that worthiness of feeling like you're worth it no matter what. It's a process. And I'm obviously still in the relationship, and I'm not like, I find it so hard to accept the love. So hard because of my past and the work that I didn't do for so long. I didn't work on my worthiness, and I didn't even think about my worth and all the things that we probably usually should be doing the work on, like in early 20s or whatever it is. Like, I'm putting an age number on it, but I didn't do any of that work. And now in the last 5 to 6 years, as I started my own life, I moved out of my house and my parents' house and things like that. I'm at a point now that every day I'm working on finding my worth. And even though I have a partner who's reminding me of my worth daily and showers me with all the love that would probably make a person feel like they're on top of the world, I still struggle with that because I'm still um, learning how to let things come into my life. Just like Hart said, the compliments, I was like, that's me. I fought with my cousin because she told me that I looked good in an outfit, because I'm usually like in sweats and whatever, like loose fitted clothes. I wore tights and a shirt. She's like, oh my God, you look so good. I'm like, I literally said something so stupid. I'm like, you sound like my mom. Like something, because my mom would be like, oh, why are you wearing loose clothes, wear tight clothes? And instead of just accepting it and letting her love that she genuinely was giving, because she truly felt, she literally explained it after, like, you truly look good, that's why I was telling you. um I blocked it out because it was easier to just deflect it than to actually bring it into my life. But going back to, it's a process. So like I mentioned, that's 20 years in the making of doing this worthy work. And to this day, it's still a process. But now I'm at a point where I know that I am amazing exactly the way I am, in the package I am in. And it's okay for me to take my time, but also learn to let people come into my life that are wanting to enter my life and bring in some love. You know what I mean? And if you've gone through any type of bullshit as a kid or in your teens, or relationships, like she said, in her 20s, and dating guys that actually didn't truly give a fuck, but I don't know what it is that we go for these bad boys. I don't know what it is. I really don't know. Maybe we'll have a conversation one day as to why we go for dickheads over guys that will literally like lick the floor clean for us. But it definitely it all goes down to you either not knowing your value or still on the process of getting to know your value and your worth. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be the people are not going to break that chain for you. You have to be
no,
the one to break your chain. And I think that it starts with knowing your values. You
yeah,
have
yeah,
to know, get to know yourself before you date anybody else. You got to date yourself. Before you make friends with anyone else, make friends with yourself. Before you go into business with anyone else, know your value. And I think that
yes,
what Serena touched on is like there are people that we come across in our lives that may have taken our value from us, right? And at
yes,
that point,
yeah,
like it's like an ever evolving journey for us to like come into our own worth. And people are giving us
yeah.
signs left, right, and center, but it doesn't matter how many
Mhm.
signs you get. If you don't see it, you're not going to hear it,
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Anybody can tell you that you look good in certain clothing or whatnot, and if you don't give a shit, like it's not gonna land in your
And
ear.
if you don't feel like you look good in the clothing,
It doesn't.
anybody's
Yeah.
compliments, people can, the queen could come out and tell me I look
Yeah.
good. I still won't accept it because I personally don't think I look good.
Yeah.
And that comes down to knowing my value, that whatever is here is it has value, it has worth. And to get to that point, it takes a while. It definitely takes a lot of errors throughout life to go through. And yeah.
And you know what? It goes back to our old, or sorry, not our old episode, our last episode on boundaries, right? It when you can start to boundaries and values, I feel like they kind of go hand in hand because
Yeah, yeah,
they're your guiding light as to like what you stand for and where you're at and who you allow and what you allow. And I
yes,
think that when you know your boundaries, you can become clear about what's acceptable in your life, like how you want to be treated and spoken to, and have the courage to speak up when necessary. That is one that I think I've come to a place where I know how I want to be treated and how I want to be spoken to, because I will correct somebody so fast now if they speak out of turn to me.
yeah.
Like I
We've
had
talked about that before.
yes, 100%. There was
Yeah,
somebody that there was someone if anybody speaks to me and they are swearing at me or they are raising their tone to me, I correct them right there. And I'm like,
yeah,
hold on, lower your tone. Lower
yeah.
it. Somebody said to me a couple weeks ago, it was really late and I was leaving their house and they said, "All right, it's time to get you the fuck out of my house." And I said, "Excuse me? What did you say?" And they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh no, I was just joking around. I don't know how to say it." And I was like, "No, no, no, no. If you're joking around, laugh. I'm not laughing and you're not laughing.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
tell me, don't throw in the F word, lower your tone."
yeah,
And then I walked out of the house. And
yeah,
it's those simple things. And I think you just gotta like be comfortable in that. And I think also when you understand that, then you don't necessarily need the external validation to prove it.
yeah, for
Instead,
sure.
you already have that going on inside. It's like a compass for you, right?
Yeah,
Time. So next time somebody says, "Hey, you look really good today," this is what I want you guys to say. Thank you.
hmm,
And notice if you feel compelled to have to give that compliment back.
yeah,
Because if you really know
mhm,
your value, you understand that I don't have to give anything because this person gave something to me and I'm worthy of just accepting it. It's a
yeah.
gift.
Yeah,
It's a
because
little
a
gift.
lot of times. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's because a lot of times we'll justify why we also need to give it back. It's like it's okay for you to just receive it half the time.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be a giver, because
Yeah.
you can't just give and not want to take it in. Sometimes you just gotta accept all of them and then give it when you want to give it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? The other thing to know as well, I think, is are you the if you're someone who gave the compliment, are you giving a compliment so someone gives you a compliment back?
That's the other mirror from the other worthy side from someone else. Yep.
Because
Yeah.
what if you were to say to somebody, hey, you know what? You look really good today, Serena. And she just said, thank you, and walked away. Would I feel like, well, why the fuck didn't she say that shit back to me? Then I have a self-worth issue. If you're going to give a compliment to someone, give a compliment because you just mean to compliment them, not because you're looking for a compliment back. I never
Yeah.
compliment someone. I never say to somebody like, when we post on social media and someone says, oh, you look so good in this picture, or you're so beautiful. I never reply by saying, look who's talking, you're so beautiful. I don't do that shit. I used to,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now I just say, thanks, love. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When I give that compliment, I don't expect to get that compliment back because I'm just giving it because I
Yeah.
see something and I want that person to receive it.
And I think when you get to that point of worthiness too, you realize that, again, you don't need to, you don't need to always be giving it. It's okay. You are worth it to receive all the love that you end up getting.
Mm-hmm.
And regarding the story, like the little story that I gave, my whole journey to worthiness, it's literally one word for me, and it's been stuck with me. I know I have a purpose. And within that purpose, I will always make sure I remind myself of my worth and my value. So I know all of us, Harj, everyone, you guys watching, there's a purpose to all of us. We don't know what it is, but there's a purpose to all of us. So if we just keep that at the top of our mind and everything else after that, I think you will always come back to realizing your value in a positive way. Because a lot of times we forget that we are here for a reason. There is a purpose to our life.
Yeah.
May be a huge purpose or a small purpose. You might be a president, you might be someone's cleaning lady, but there is a purpose to your life and the way your life has been shaped. So as long as if you're aware of your purpose, you will always make sure that
Aligned.
you're aligned and that you remind yourself that you do have value because you're here for a fucking reason. Your life has a purpose. It's not just here for shits and giggles. God made you, who that higher energy put you here for a reason.
Yeah.
So always remember that you have a purpose. After that, you're worthy of everything because you have a fucking purpose.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that pushes me every single day.
Yeah.
No matter how even if I question my value, even if I question my worthiness, I know there's a purpose. So I always have to remind myself of that, and everything else is history after that. So
And your purpose, that is like such a huge point that Serena made. Like, I think she pretty much said everything, that it all comes down to your purpose in life. And your purpose in life, I'm going to say this, people think that it has to be your work. It doesn't. Your purpose in life can literally be anything that makes you feel valuable.
your purpose in your life is literally your life. And I feel like you can add so much value to other people. That could be
Yeah.
your purpose, or that you're supposed to just add the value that you thought you didn't have. Like we mentioned, whatever we questioned ourselves, that is the purpose. To get to a point where we know we have a purpose is actually the value and the worth.
That is the work. That is the value. And
Yeah.
your purpose is perfect.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be judged and criticized or mocked by anybody. Your purpose is perfect for you. And it
Yes.
could even be like you coming into this world and needing to learn some messages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why we don't know what it is, but know that there is a reason and a purpose to your life.
Yeah.
Always will be there. It always is. But again, it comes down to us to actually pick up on that purpose and know that there's value in all of us.
Yeah.
All of me, all of Harj, all of you.
Yeah.
There's a purpose and there's enough value for you to give a fuck about yourself.
Totally. And when you start to see it and you start to feel it,
Yeah.
you see it around you too. You
So
will.
true. You
You,
so true.
you will. It's crazy because out there in the world, out there, it all exists. The good, the bad, the wonderful, the ugly, it's all out there. So it's a matter of which one are you going to be attracted to? Like which magnet are you going to be? Because you're literally a magnet. You are a fucking magnet.
Yeah.
Tina is
Mhm.
a magnet. And so when I
Yeah.
step out into the world, what am I attracting?
Yeah.
I'm only attracting what my magnet wants.
And hard said, the affirmations that we probably all should be working at is exactly that. Is just a reminder that you are a magnet, and whatever you tell yourself, whatever you speak out loud,
Yep.
is gonna be part of your life. So speak the things you want in your life and not what other people tell you to speak for yourself.
Yes, exactly. That's the key. That's it right there. That's the takeaway.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, guys,
Guys.
this was I definitely didn't think we would share personal stories, but I think it was good because it really is. Worthiness really starts from things at home and your personal issues and how we grew up and things like that. So I think it's all very relatable. So hopefully you guys found it helpful or just enjoyed what we talked about or are going through your own journey of finding your purpose, finding your value and your worth in a relationship or in business or at work or wherever in general, or even in your homes,
Yeah,
because that's where we started. But yeah,
absolutely. Oh man, we love you guys.
yeah, guys, thank
Share
you so
share your
much.
story with us. Share your story with us. Drop in the comments. Let us know if, what your key takeaway was. Let us know
Yeah,
what your valuable little message was. Let us
yeah,
know if you've gone through this journey, if you are going through this journey, and drop in the comments maybe 5 characteristics that you love about yourself now. Put it in the
yeah,
comments. Put
yeah,
it in the comments. What are the 5 things that you love about you?
yeah. 5 simple words.
Yeah.
What is it?
What are those 5 characteristics? You got it, girl. We got
All
this.
right, guys.
We do this. All right. We'll see you next week.
All right, guys. See you next Wednesday. Bye.